the big like scope of the show is to create laughter, to create education, to create a loving storyline with positive representation and accurate representation. And I did start writing this first episode the day after Trump was elected. It was literally the only thing I could do to not just like destroy everything in a fit of rage. I was like, great, I will channel that energy into making queer art. But it's actually very much inspired from my personal coming out experience.
Oh, what? Meaning like what we saw was like...
It's not like... inspired. I really would get nauseous when we would have sex, and I thought there was something really wrong with me. I never enjoyed it, and I went to the gyno, and that experience was different. My gyno at the time...
I hope.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm gonna... These images is gonna be...
Let it be stuck up here forever. But it was very confusing because my body did start doing things that it never did with my boyfriend, and it was very confusing, and I didn't have a full on gasm.
Oh
but things started happening. It took that and a couple other things for me to realize that I was queer. But when I realized, I was like, damn, that would make a good episode of television one day. Truly.
And then here we are.
It really is, though. I mean, like every time, I mean, seeing it now and then also seeing it in screenings and festivals, like, people's reaction to those moments is, like, precious. It's precious.
I mean, we all have different experiences going to the gyno. You know, we all have vaginas.
Yep.
And each of our experiences has been different, and especially if you're a trans person and you're, you know, AFAB and you've had to have that experience. It's a touchy subject, so I think the only way to really address it is through humor, because it is sometimes the most uncomfortable thing you have to do. For your character, as we were just watching it, it's like, I don't think you ever actually had your exam.
No, I don't think I ever had my exam. I just was like, I'm gonna teach a little something and then just like skedoodle out of this. So at some point, I feel like Vero should get, you know, a pap smear, because it is an important thing you should do every 3 years. But yeah, I think Vero completely just like dodged that bullet and was like, let me just use this wand that was gonna be going inside of me, and then just like point it at a wall and like teach some stuff.
For the record, that's not what they use for a pap smear.
No, I know, it's a different, yeah. In terms of like Vero's like character arc line, like that, they were not prepared to do this, you know? Like later we'll see, but at the moment it's like, you know, you're there, like I want to teach this person like something about like my community, like what can I do? I could see myself, you know, in my next gyno appointment just being like, let me do this, or I got it.
Or you can just tell your gyno to watch the show.
Or I can just tell, yeah, exactly. I think I might just do that, send the link before I go.
Yeah, I think also, wherever you fall within the trans spectrum, we're still at a point in our scope of getting basic medical care where we are being asked to sometimes educate our own doctors. And it's uncomfortable for us, it's uncomfortable for them. For myself, having, you know, when I used to have to go to the gynecologist and explaining certain things and having, you know, boundaries. You've been talking since we filmed, and you've had a journey for your own and your identity. Mm-hmm. If you want to share any part of that, and maybe where you were already moving towards in your identity, and did this project kind of help you through that?
Definitely did. Prior to the project, I had done a few other things that were like beginning for me to like question my gender identity. And you know, being me, which is very similar to Vero, like I go to like research and just like start like looking at like other non-binary gender queer folks, like interviews, and like hear them, and then like going on articles and finding stuff, and then like the more I read, the more I was like, this really rings true. It's just now I have a vocabulary for it, you know? And my family, and explaining to them like, remember when I told you all that I was a lesbian? Great. So let's do this one more time. There's more now. And very much, and I'm really glad that I did this project, because I learned so much through Vero, so much through that, like teaching with love and compassion and taking care of, you know, because it can be really exhausting to explain and validate your existence all the time.
So Gretchen, talk about why it was so important to kind of craft that for a non-binary character and kind of how you're constantly having to educate, even within our own community.
When I did start writing it, I actually knew that I wanted myself, and then I did want a non-binary character. From my friends' experience, they educate all the time, right? It's like a thing. So I thought it was really important to have Vero be the vessel, and like a willing vessel to educate and like teach people. I did want to show such a difference between my character's experience and Vero's experience in that office. What it would be like if Vero were to be like, hey, I'm good at this. I want to be a queer educator. I also did want like a nice cute meet cute. So
what's at the heart of this series, and I think what drew me to it as a director and a storyteller, is it's an avenue for folks to be entertained, yes, but also to be educated in a way that I don't think makes anybody feel guilty for not knowing what they don't know yet, you know? And I think it's going to be something that hopefully families can watch together, and also queer folk can watch together
Totally.
and see themselves and also learn some things.